For instance, first and foremost, courtship is not in the Bible, right? If you tell anyone today that, maybe somebody is trusting God for a husband or for a wife, for a life partner, for instance, and a guy showed up and said, I want to marry you, or I like you, let's go get married. And you'd be like, suppose the guy said, no, I want us to marry today. And you are meeting him for the first time. You are going to be like, but I don't know you. You cannot just come out of nowhere and say, let's go and get married. And of course, society have told you that, no, you need to take time to know the person. You have to you develop friendship, then you move to something else before you get to marriage. And so we have this whole notion in our head that, marriage takes time, and everybody preach it like you need to wait to, do investigation and all of those, which is all valid. But the idea of courtship, where did it start from? Who started it? And why are we doing it? And who determined how long a courtship to last? So all these are conversations that really need to be had, so that many people will have a clear idea of what it is that they are doing when they think about marriage. Take, for example, you meet a lady who is, for instance, 36, 37 years old, and you show interest in this lady that you're going to marry the person. It's okay, so let's court, and then we'll get married if everything goes right. So the lady agrees, and you start dating, as it were. 1 year pass, 2 years pass, and you have not made up your mind, because you are still getting to know the person. And of course, if you have to bear in mind that as the years are passing, so is the years of the young lady. If she was 37, for example, when you met her, and you are taking this time to court her, to get to know her, after 2 years she'll be 39 years old, right? In 3 years she'll be 40 years old, and you haven't made up your mind. And then maybe finally you make up your mind maybe after like 4 years or so. You want to get married to her. Now you are getting married to her, she's 41 years old. Now you see, there are other things you have not factored in, while you take all these years to make up your mind. There are many things you have not factored in. For example, of course, there's a natural biological clock for a lady. By the time a lady never had a child till she's 40 years old, you are going to have to maybe have faith, because of course, and you cannot now come up to say, well, I want babies. You're not giving me babies. You're not giving me children. You are supposed to have thought about it 4 years ago, because if you thought about that, if you thought that children were important to you 4 years ago, you should have hastened the marriage, right? And then you come down again to the question we asked in the beginning, that when we said we are in courtship, what exactly are we doing? What are we looking for? What are we trying to know? You're trying to know the person. You see, if you're a Christian, courtship is not in the Bible. There is no example of courtship. Take, for example, the first marriage that ever happened in the Bible, Adam and Eve. When you studied this, you discover that the very first day Adam saw Eve, the very first time he saw Eve, they got married. She became his wife. From the very first day. You see, no time to get to know ourselves. Because the truth is, you really cannot know anybody. Forget the idea and the notion. You cannot know anybody that you don't live with. And this is the reason why some people have what we call a shock when they get married. Because when you're courting this brother or this sister or this lady, they are, as it were, very, very organized. Every time you visit the lady's house, the house is sparkling. She's clean, And you're thinking, oh yeah, this is a wife material. She's always clean. Look at her kitchen is neat, the house is neat. And then every time the lady visits the guy's house, the house is clean, everywhere is shining, the perfume and smelling nice. And you're thinking, man, this guy is a cool guy, he's a clean guy, You see, during that time that both of you thought you are courting, both of you were actors and actresses. Everybody was acting his own scripts. So when you get married now, you're like shocked. Like, I thought you were a clean person. How come the bed is not made? Look at the dishes are in the sink, they are not washed, and you are now shocked. You see, because you cannot really know anyone that you don't live with. That's the fact. That's the fact. If I know you are going to be here for 2 hours, I can pretend for 2 hours. You know, because I already know that you are not going to be here for all time. The time you're going to live is short. But you see, when you get married, nobody is going anywhere, right? The guy has come to stay. He's not going anywhere. He come into the house and throw his shoe there and throw that there. Everything is flying all around the house. You can complain and get angry. Now you are now learning. This is the real time you are now learning to know the person that you're getting or you're married to. The courtship really is not the place to learn, because you are really not going to learn anything. You see. So to answer the question, what are people looking for in courtship? They don't know. That's the fact. Many people don't know. See? So why are we in courtship? Because everybody is in courtship. Is the progression from greeting ourselves to discussing, if I like you, you like me. The next thing we move to courtship. Why are we going there? We don't know. So I said, look at the Bible. Adam, the first day he met Eve, they became married. She became his wife. We read about, of course, Isaac. Isaac was minding his own business. The father sent the servant to go look for a wife, and the servant went to find a wife and brought the wife with. And the Bible told us that as soon as Isaac saw Rebekah, he was comforted. He took her to be his wife. There's no question as to, what did you study, where are you from, and all of those stuff, And they became couples, husband and wife, from the very first day they met. The same thing applies, And then some can even the example like, okay, look at Jacob, Jacob and Leah and Rachel. So Jacob worked for 7 years for Rachel. Those are different circumstances and scenarios. And as a matter of fact, they were not in courtship. They were not courting to get married. You see, it's a matter of Jacob working to get to pay the dowry, because that, in that environment, one of the way people pay dowry for someone they want to marry, if you don't have the cash or the substance to give, is to maybe work out the years of wages, as it were, that you should have used to pay for dowry. So Jacob was working for 7 years, and then he worked and they gave him the wrong wife, and he have to work again 7 years too. So they were not in courtship for 14 years. So if you study from Genesis to Revelation in the Bible, you are not going to find any instance where anybody was in a courtship. So now this brings me down to someone who is, the Christian lady is trusting God for a husband and is praying to God, and then a man appeared and said, okay, let's get married. And she knows it's too early. I said, so okay, when you were praying yesterday that you want to get married, did you tell God that, God, I'm praying for marriage in the next 2 years? When I meet the person now, we'll cut for 2 years or we'll cut for 3 years. Was that your prayer? The way you were praying like you want to get married now. So the husband is here now, so get married now. Like, it's too fast. Everything is moving too fast. And that I don't understand. Okay, now that you're saying that there should be no courtship, what are you saying? Are you now saying that I should marry somebody I don't know? Then the question is, even you that is talking, do you know yourself? How much do you know about yourself? Let me ask you, how much do you know about yourself? There are things in you that you don't know are there. You see, that it takes somebody to come into your life to actually reveal you to yourself. The man who beats his wife, or who beats, may not know that those tendencies to beat is in him until maybe a lady came along and they now feel comfortable, and at the slightest provocation, the beating spirit just manifested. He didn't know it was all there. You see, so there are things in you don't know. If you are stingy, if you are selfish, if you are wicked, you probably may not know, because you have not had opportunity to really relate with people in such intimate environment where you can really manifest some of this, like we call it, true colors. So you don't know yourself until circumstances provoke certain things in you. The same way, you can never know anyone until things like marriage bring you together, and then you begin to find out the person and find out yourself as you go along the way. So this whole idea of courtship, If you want to do it, fine, but then there are no set rules. See, nobody said courtship must last for 6 months, it must last for 1 year, it must last for, no, there are no set rules. You see, and of course, if I actually give advice, regarding this courtship stuff, I'll say, now, if you, like I said earlier on, if you're going to hang around a lady, you should put into cognizance that this lady is also working with time, and certain things in her body happen easily at certain age. You see, certain things like childbirth, they happen easily at certain age. When you wait for too long, then you cannot blame her when those things that are supposed to be easy are not happening, because you are part of the problem. You help to waste the time. See, you have to waste the time. So think about it as you are thinking your courtship and thinking all of those stuffs. Bear in mind that time is going, and time affects a whole lot of things. See, I read a whole lot of things. Courtship is not a scriptural thing, it's not a spiritual thing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Let's say people choose to go in courtship, and then during their courtship years, maybe they courted for like a year. They all thought that they were on the same page. And then later on, maybe the lady saw that, no, I'm seeing characters that I don't like, red flag. Maybe the lady is already in her late 30s now.
Yeah.
So should I still now hang on knowing that there are characters that I can see that, no, these ones I can't compromise on? Should I now still wait, or be also worried that, no, running out of time? Should I now just go in, because if I wait too long and then I won't have kids?
No, but that is actually one of the dangers of courtship, because you see, ask people who are already married. So they are going to tell you that there are some things in my husband that if I knew, I would never have married him, or something like that. There are things that my wife does that if I knew this thing, I would never have married her. So what has happened is that because they didn't stay for too long to find out some of these things, they are married, and somehow they get to work it throughout. They work it out, to have a good marriage at the end of the day. So the truth is this: the longer you stay in courtship, the likelihood of finding problems that actually can keep you single for a very long time. You see, why do you think couples fight? Because of disagreements, right? And what you call red flags. They say things in themselves, or they do things to themselves that provoke to the point that it's like, I'm tired. What kind of thing is this? If I regret marrying you, all that kind of stuff, right? But now you are married. So after all those fights, they resolve, they move on. You see, but because they are already married, right? They look for a way to solve the problem and they move on. But if you are not yet married, those kind of things, just I see this red flag, I move away. If you keep running away from red flag, obviously you are going to end up alone and single. You see, so that is that question is actually a danger, one of the danger of courtship. Because and most people who did those things, they are regretting today. If they were to tell the truth, talk to people and tell the truth, they'll tell you that, I made a mistake. This guy, I should have married him. I let him go. Now somebody else is married to the person and they are doing well. You see, so how come your red flag didn't stop everybody from marrying the guy? So at times, it's important to know that when you take time, like somebody said, nobody can hold an interest or a passion for too long. You see, so why the passion is there, why the interest is there, make the move, do the right thing, do what you're supposed to do. You see, so by the time the passion will have waned, or by the time those impulses and those ideas are beginning to get wicked, you're already in it. You see, and then now that I'm here, we'll figure out how to maneuver and move forward. Ask everybody that have been married for so long, they will tell you that there were times where they feel like they don't want to do this anymore. They feel like, no, this is not it, But then also, when those times came, they also have other reasons why they feel, okay, let me just stay for this reason. Some tell like, no, the reason why I stayed, after the first 5 years of the marriage is because I now have kids and I don't want to leave my kid, I don't want my kid to have the experience of a single parenthood. So they stayed. But along the line, they fixed things, and now they've been 10 years, 20 years, and they're having blissful marriage. So at times, some of the things we call red flag also could just be as a result of the fact that we have not really discovered ourselves. And in my opinion, I think the safest thing to do is actually, if you like someone, try to get married. Of course, some of the red flags that you cannot tolerate are things like if it's abusive, if it's violent, all of those things, right? But even all those things as well, can all be managed. They can all be managed. The only reason why an abusive or a relationship can be abusive and people are suffering those kind of damage with that is when they keep it secret. If you let it out, you are likely to get help. You're likely to get help. So the red flags will be there. Ask everyone who is married, especially those who have been married for so long. All of them will tell you that there are times when they felt like, men, I just wish I could just walk away, But thank God they were married. So that it was difficult to walk away. And they managed to fix the marriage and they remain married. So if you are 39 years already, I'll tell you that one of the things that successful people do is that they are very quick to make up their mind, to take decisions, and they are very slow to change that decision. But on the contrary, those who are failure or who don't succeed that much in many things in life are very slow to make decisions and very quick to change their mind. See? So they are very quick to change their mind. So it took you like, for example, the guy is approaching you for, it took you like 6 months to just give the guy a yes. And one turn of, one mistake like this, you've changed your mind. You can't succeed like this. See, you can read the same I just made. The rich, the successful, make decision quickly, and they take a longer time to change that decision. And the poor and the unsuccessful take a long time to make a decision, and they are very quick to change their mind. So the red flags will be there. Trust me. Everybody have it. The truth is this. Of course, some people have said like, no, my marriage is heaven on earth. My husband is the best. My wife is the best. What should they have said? What should they have said? Which is the truth, in most cases. But before you came to that heaven on earth marriage in all of those, you may have had to go through some tough times, and stick around until now. The things that probably you thought were provoking are no longer provoking you, or the things that, you think you could not deal with. Now you found out that you're actually the one who had the problem and you have changed. And now you have a great marriage. So those are things you look at. Courtship is dangerous. It's dangerous because, like I said, okay, now, just assume, okay, not even a red flag. You are dating this guy for 1-2 years, and you allow him to be dating you for years. Along the line, another lady comes along the line. Maybe you have 80% qualities of a good wife to this guy, and along the line, another lady came who have the 20% you don't have. And the guy have been craving for this 20% that you don't have. The possibility that he's going to leave you and go for 20%, of course, he's going to miss you at some point, but for this 20%, that's why you hear people say things like, I've been with this guy for the past 5 years. What is paining me is that he just met this person and in 3 months they are married. Courtship is dangerous. It's more harmful than it is good.
What about love and chemistry? Especially for people that attraction to them is important. Let's say maybe I need to feel that there's a spark there.
Is it love? Of course, many marriage experts will tell you that there are different Greek words for love, which I'm not disputing. There's a Greek word for love called phileo, and they say that is natural human love, like father loves his son or mother loves her children. And then there's another Greek word called eros, which they said is a passion love, erectile love, and all of those kind of. And then the last one is agape, right? Or the other type of love is agape, which is actually the only kind of love recommended in the Bible. The Bible says that husbands should love their wife as Jesus or Christ loved the church. Now, and that scripture is written to husband, not to potential husband, and not to a man who is courting a woman. You see, so actually to find that love, and then the Bible also says that you should love your wife, right? So the prescription of the Bible is like you love the person you marry, not the person you are intending to marry, or not somebody that marry the person you love. So those idea of love, all those things are modern terminology and modern thinking, right? People don't get married because of love, as a matter of fact. And the truth also is this, that when we say love, many people don't know what it is. Many people don't know what it is. I can tell you that the majority of people who are married today believe that they are in love with each other. But the truth is they are not. Because you see, if you look at the love of God, for instance, when you say love your wife as Christ loved the church. Jesus loved the church. How? By dying for the church. How many men are willing to die for their husband? Are willing to die for their wife? That's a conversation that is not based on truth, and they talk about chemistry. That's another very funny thing. Another very, very, very funny misconception about this whole thing. Because if you talk about chemistry, then you must also talk about biology, right? And talk about the mathematics, in relationship. Because when you look at chemistry has to do with chemical reaction. And then you talk about the biology. Should I not marry somebody? What do I mean by biology? Then you think about, okay, is the person able to have children? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because, the chemistry is, like you said, the spark that bring you together. So why is it that people divorce? Chemistry is not enough. Because there's a video we did some time ago where we were talking about, should the man divorce his wife because she cannot have children? So as you're thinking about chemistry, you must also think about the biology, right? And then you also think about the mathematics, because when you talk about biology and talking about children, you think about the math also, because there will be financial responsibility, So it all those things, they are not what lead to marriage. They don't determine, whether or not to make someone to decide if he's going to get married to you. So they should not be the reason for protected courtship. They shouldn't. The word chemistry, that chemistry doesn't exist. It's just a facade in people's head. It's just people's thinking, there's a spark. I tell you a truth. If you put two unlikely people on the island, and they are there alone, if you give them, maybe if they are there alone for like 3 months, and they have to depend on each other, they'll fall in love. If the word love actually is what people think, the spark will come at the end of the day. So these are words that we use on the streets that don't mean anything. Someone said, I don't believe in love at first sight. The truth is that you don't even know what love is. to begin with, you don't know what love is. Because the truth, love is not feeling. You say, I feel nothing for you. We're not saying the same thing. Love is knowledge. And it is said that knowing you is loving you. To truly love someone, you will need to have certain knowledge about that person for you to really say, okay, I love this person. So, how are you going to have that knowledge? Until you get close. You see, until you get close. The only atmosphere, environment where there are no reservation, where you can truly know someone, is in marriage. You see, that means to actually truly love someone, you have to first get married. All those things people say, like, the way I feel, it make me feel. Say, I marry him because I love him. People can lie. That's a big lie. Eh? You marry him because you love him. So now that you're divorcing him, what happened? You don't love him anymore.
I believe the major thing that causes divorce arguments in marriage is finances. And especially for finances, it's not like a question that is like brought like, what is your name? And I need to know how this person manage their finances. So now, how do I study how this person manage his finances? So how do I know that he's really gonna take care of his family? Maybe I like working on budget and he doesn't. How do I say about this characteristic? If it's just now, there's no courtship, I just know his name, but the deeper things like finances.
But those are, like I said, you don't need a year of courtship to find out those things, right? You don't need that long time to discover some of those things. Those are simple things. For example, if a guy meets you and you are, like we said earlier on, somebody who's in her late 30s, and the guy comes, obviously the guy shows to be in his late 30s or probably in his 40s, right? At 40 years, there are some things there are some milestones that you should have crossed already for us to. So if somebody meets you at 40 years, there are certain things that should have happened. And those things will tell you whether or not the person have either financial discipline, knowledge, you'll be able to tell, right? Because if at 40 years you've had certain level of achievement, personal achievement, those achievements are pointed to me to the kind of person you are, right? But if somebody comes at 40 years and he have know how, okay, for example, he's staying with someone, at 40, he's squatting either with a friend or staying with the parent. That's if you, like you said earlier on, if there's a red flag, that's a big red flag there, right? You don't need to stay with him for the next 1 year to figure out. You stop saying, these are like I said, if I ask you a question, what's your name? And you told me my name is Jacob, and I check your ID and your name is James, that's already a big no. You don't need years to figure out some of that kind of thing. How are you with finances? Like I said, I'll be able to tell. With the things you have done around you, they'll inform me. If you live alone, right? If you are living alone and probably you own the house or you are paying rent and there's electricity in your house and there's water in your house, it already tells me that if getting married will not mean that it will not change you from taking care of basic responsibilities, right? So those are things that it's very easy to know. It's only somebody who said, okay, he's 48, but he's squatting with a friend or he's squatting somewhere here, but I know things are going to get ready. You that is defending such a character, you are not serious. Because, like I said, if I meet you at 20, 25 years, maybe 22, 23, 24, 25 years, there are some things that I can understand. Right? You are still young, you are trying to find your feet, it makes sense. But when you are 30, when you are 35 years, there are certain milestones that you already should have achieved or crossed in your life. So you don't need time to know those things. Like we'll ask, where do you live? I live at number so. Okay, do you own the house? Are you renting the house? No, I own the house, or I'm renting the house. Oh, how much is your rent? It's XYZ amount of money. Oh, okay. So if you should be able to know. Because if you are taking care of yourself now, right, you are likely to continue to buy electricity when you get married, because it shows that you don't like to live in darkness, right? Yeah, you're likely to pay for water because it shows that you want to have, yeah. The only thing that I say that you cannot know about somebody is the character now of, for example, selfishness. If the person is selfish, you will not know. You probably will not know. So the only way to know that the person is selfish is that you are close enough to be able to, like, okay, opportunity and situation will arise to enable you determine, that this person, okay, he doesn't like to share. So you won't, but the ones you can know, they are obvious. They are obvious. If the guy came, in his own car, you already should be able to tell that certain factors must have gone into play for him to drive his own car, right? Did you work did you save the money to buy the car? Or if he did, that's a decent person there. And if he didn't, okay, he got the job. That means, okay, the job that he's doing enable him to be able to afford the car. Okay, the car is driving. You have fuel in the car. Yeah, you will know. You will know. Trust me, the things about people are usually obvious. If a disciplined person is very obvious to know. If it's a partying person, somebody who wastes money, you will know. How will you know? For example, some people, end of the month like this, they're happy because they have money. Middle of the month, he will not call because he doesn't have any time in his phone. So what's going on? So and when he's calm, when there's no, so, see, character is difficult to hide. Even from conversation, when you're talking to someone, you can tell that this person, from the things he says, you can already tell the kind of person he is, because you cannot really hide who you are. It comes out in when you talk and in the things you do. So you will know. If you need a year to study somebody, you are a very slow learner. Yeah, you are really slow to learn. And of course, now, as I said this also, I must also say that you that want to also get married as a lady, you must first of all also know what you want as a person. You see, because if you don't know what you want, you will not be able to tell when you see it or when you don't see it. So you must know what you want. You must have a definition, of the things that makes for a great guy or a potential husband. You must have a definition in your own mind. Then when you start seeing signs, you can tell, okay, this meet with my definition. But if you don't have a definition and you're just living as things flow, so that's what you're gonna get. Yes, there's a question. There's something you're saying about the compatibility or
Yes, the Bible said, marry someone that is suitable for you.
yeah.
I want to understand that compatibility. When do you check it?
But the whole idea of compatibility has to do also with who you are, right? With who you are. For example, the Bible says, "Don't be unequally yoked with unbeliever." So that in that context is talking about faith, right? So if you are a Christian, the starting point is the person who claimed or who is showing interest in marrying you must be a Christian, right? So those are basic and obvious things. And then when you're talking about being compatible, or someone who is what who is compatible to you, then the next thing is, who are you? Yeah, because if you don't know who you are, you cannot tell what is compatible for you. Take for example, if I go to the shop and I want to buy a shirt, there'll be a lot of shirts in the shop, in a clothing shop. But for me to be able to tell which shirt to buy, I must first have an idea of what size I am. So apart from the fact that I may choose color, right, which is like now the attractiveness that brings you even to talk to the person. The person is beautiful, the person is handsome. Those are physical attraction that bring you close to the person, just like in the clothes in the shop. Now, there are many times I've been to the shop and I see a shirt or a short or trousers that I like, and I went there and I didn't find my size. Right? So I move away. Even though I like the shirt, I couldn't buy it because it will not fit me. Meaning that shirt is not my size. The same thing is true with marriage. Something can attract you, maybe physical beauty, and you come close to the person, and then because you already know who you are, you can tell that no, this character, this one and this one will not work with who I am. That's what the compatibility is about. It's about first you knowing who you are and the things you want. And then that will now inform whether or not the person you are talking to has the qualities that is compatible with the qualities that you already possess. Right? So, and this thing doesn't take months to know. At times you get even from asking questions. How do we invest in businesses and companies? We don't have to go and run that business, or follow the business owners to their house to know who they are. They pitch the business. And then we ask questions, critical questions. And when they answer those questions, okay, you take the risk and you invest in the business. Most of the time we've seen it. The business go well, and in other cases, the business go bad. But those are risks that you take, right? So the same thing is true with marriage. Just define yourself first, who you are. You see, if I'm a Christian that love God, I'm a spiritual person, obviously the first sign of compatibility that you are also spiritual, we must meet, at that level. So if you want to know who is compatible to you, first find out who are you. Yeah, know who you are first, then you can determine what is right for you or not. I can't wear all the shoes that are in the shop because it's not all of them are my size. So I may like the shoe, it's attractive. In fact, I can even imagine what it would be like when I put it on, but it's not my size. So that's the problem, right? That's a deal breaker. Another question.
I just want to understand this concept of, usually when you ask someone for advice,
Yes.
on who to marry, they always say, no, marry your friend. What does that mean?
Here's another. These are another. First and foremost, how do people become friends? Nobody just met somebody and said, "Oh wow, let's be friends." You see, friendship usually develop over time, right? By reason of association, by reason of fellowship. You see, the more time you spend with someone, the more that is how friendship develop. So even friendship itself alone is not an automatic thing. So to marry a friend, of course, the scenarios may have led to that kind of situation where now we are friends and we decide to get married. That works, in most cases, that works. Maybe because we're working together on a project, and along the line we develop friendship. Now we love, we enjoy ourselves companies. We do things together. I call you if I have challenges. You call me, you help me out, and then we move from there to marriage. It works, right? But also, don't forget that it was time together that led us to the place of friendship. The same is true. When you marry somebody and you spend time with the person, you will develop friendship for it. You become friends. If you hang around someone for a while, you become friends. And the more you relate with somebody, the more you open up, right? That's basically what friendship is about. Because now you're like, this person knows too much about me. The person helped me. If I have any issue, I call the person. If I need advice, it's the person I call. He's my friend. Your wife or your husband can become that person if you get married and you spend time together and fellowship. So are you trying to say now we should now go and start looking for friends to marry? So even that friend you're going to look for, you will still have to, it will still take you time for the person to trust you to that level of confidentiality. See? So that's what we are saying. Now I'm 35 years, or I'm 37 years, or 30 or 40 years old. I don't have all those time to now start making friends with you for the next 3 years. And some of the people that you're talking about, like say a friend, they have been friends for 5 years, some of them 10 years. Some of them grew up together. So you are 40 years. Do you have 20 years to go and be friends with somebody? You'll be grandfather at that time, huh? So all of these things, like I'm saying, in summary, all of these things about marriage and courtship, 90% of the knowledge that is on the street is based on assumptions. In fact, are based on things that mean nothing, like I said. What is chemistry?
And movies also.
And movies, and of course, like that is based on nothing. Because if you are going to insist on chemistry, you must insist on biology, you must insist on mathematics, because all of these things play roles in marriage. One of the greatest adventure of a human life is marriage, because we are marrying someone that can become anything. It can become a successful person. Marriage open you to a world of possibilities. It open you to a world of possibility. The person you marry could become an absolute failure, and your life could crumble as a failure. And that person you are marrying can become an absolute success, and you can become successful in life to a degree you've never have imagined in your life. So it's a possibility that only God can actually tell from the beginning. The rest of us are just going on adventure. So courtship is not scriptural, and nobody have to go through that. If you don't feel like it, you don't have to. And if you both agree that let's do this, it should be an agreement from the first day. It should not be like, okay, I'm waiting for the guy to make up his mind. No, you should not be waiting for anybody to make up their mind. We agree. You want to get married to me? Yes. Okay. When? At least you can say, okay, we'll marry in 5 months or in 6 months. Okay. For example, somebody give me a time and say, I'll do something for you in a year or so. I want to know why. Why not now? There must be a reason why it should be, it should happen in a year's time. And that reason must be also understandable to me or acceptable to me. Right? So it's a very simple thing. In fact, like I said, courtship is actually a trap, because now you are in this courtship. And some people even go to the extent of now, you say, no, we are going to get married. This is my fiancé or my fiancée. And now he's a fiancé and a fiancée. And now you are giving him or her a benefit of your wife. Both of you are not serious. You go to the guy's house, or in fact, some people move into the house. You move in with the guy. As what? You've packed your load and you have moved in with the guy.
To know him better, maybe.
So, oh my goodness. So what will you be doing in the house? You cook food, you wash clothes, you do all those things, you sleep with the person. So if you are already carrying out the function of your husband, and you as a man, you provide for the lady, you buy the things, you do, pay. You are providing, you are doing all of this. So what are you waiting for to get married? Just go to court, or yeah. You cannot say at this point. You can no longer say my parents. No, if you have respect for your parents, you will not move in with the guy. Now that you have moved in, it means that your parents are no factor at all in your life. They don't decide what you do. So just go to the courts or go to church and say, let's get married today. Why? Because we are already living as husband and wife. So let's make it official. I even tell experienced Christians, you are dating this guy for 1 year, 2 years. In those 1 year, 2 years, are you going to tell me that you don't sleep with the guy? You don't. Why would you expose yourself to all kind of unholy things? Courtship is a trap, and it's dangerous.
And that thing of also, I feel like moving in with a person, I feel like it also just, since now you are open to things that you're not supposed to do at this stage of you're saying courtship, I feel like later on when you get married, there's no something that you are looking forward to anymore. It's like you have already depleted everything
that's the danger of all of this. And that's why I say that courtship is dangerous. That's the danger of all of these things. So you as a Christian, prayer, you are not very bold to pray because you know what you are doing is not right. And there's a thought in you that tell you that you are committing sin, and you know it. You see, so this whole thing is not necessary. And another thing that I'll talk about also while we're discussing this is, okay, what about, okay, pastor, you see, no, say, okay, me, I really don't want to do courtship, but I don't have money to get married. Then the question now is, how much does the marriage cost? I don't know, maybe where you live, maybe in your country, I don't know, how much does the marriage cost? Because in the country where I live, marriage is free. Whether you want to go to courts to get married legally, or you want to go to church to get married spiritually, it's free. So if it's free, so what is the problem with the cost? Or you need money to buy food for your friends or for your family members. Marriage is about the two people, right? If family member want to eat food because you are getting married, that you contribute money, isn't it? Yeah, that you help your brother out or help your sister out. That you contribute money. If they don't have money to contribute, then they will attend without food. Right? But you don't have to live in, do things that your spirits disagree with, that affect your soul. Get married. Tell the lady, let's go to courts. It's okay, I don't have new clothes. You don't have new clothes, but you are. So if you don't have new clothes, then you guys should not stay in the same house. Stay away. And don't give yourself benefit of husband and wife because you are not yet married. Maybe that will also help you to really go and work to buy clothes. If clothes is your problem, right? Yeah. If clothes is your problem.
Or them saying, oh, no, I'm waiting for the right time.
That's the problem now. This week I wrote an article saying that the right time is now. Because the truth is, you don't have yesterday. It's not your time. You don't have power over yesterday. And you don't have tomorrow. You only have now. Tomorrow is a promise. You may get there, you may not get there. The only time you have to make decision, the only time you have to do the right thing is now. So I'm waiting for the right time. That's what I'm saying. If you decide to wait for the right time, then you must wait completely. You cannot be waiting for the right time to get married and then in the meantime be acting as husband or acting as wife. No, you should wait. Become a husband or start acting as a husband when the right time comes, when your right time arrives, right? So that's what we are talking about. Because I've seen, I'm waiting for the right time, or I'm waiting till I get money. So it's like, think about it. If you go to the restaurant and you don't have money, you don't order for food, right? Yeah, you sit down there and wait for your money. So somebody promises you that I'll send you money. You don't order food until the money arrives if you don't want to get into trouble. But the same thing applies. If you're a Christian, you should know that sleeping with somebody who is not married to you is called sin. In the Bible, there's a word called, the word the Bible uses is called fornication. And that will send you to hell. You should know that. Marriage is not difficult. It's not expensive. If you want to have a marriage like your friend, then you go get money like your friend. If you don't have money like your friend, do your own. It's a conversation that is, it's open to comments. You can comment. Let's discuss. Because these things, we copy too many things. Too many things. Many of which we really can't even tell. We can't tell who started it, why it started. You don't know. We don't know. We just keep copying without asking questions. And some of these things we have copied and put us in trap, put us in bondage that we can't deliver ourselves from. See. It's almost unthinkable now. If somebody were to approach in fact, if maybe you are in church and you saw a sister praying, God, give me a husband. And you wait for the sister to finish praying. And she finished praying and said, God, I've answered your prayer. I came to marry you. She was like, just like that. She's even shocked that God answered our prayer.
Yes, because we are used to, I need to get to know you first.
That's what we are debunking. Yeah? I need to get to know you first. But when you were praying, you should have said those things in your prayer. Say, Father, give me the man. When the man come, help me to know him. Pray like that. So that when the man comes, then your prayer will be acting out. And I think also another thing that I must really maybe make mention of it now while we're on this is, in all honesty, the people that truly love their spouse in marriage are not few. If you walk by the definition of the love the Bible spoke about in Hebrews 5, I think verse 25, where it says, husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church. People who love their wives, they are not many. All the so-called love that we proclaim in our homes and in all the different places are contractual. Those loves are based on something. Because your wife can't even, before your wife do certain thing, you are already angry and you are ready to, yeah, it's based on something. Have you seen ladies who tell their husband, you are the best, I love you? Why? Because the husband brought a gift. Let's not lie to ourselves. I said that, my husband is the best until the time he stopped doing the thing that he's doing that make you say he's the best. Because when you say your husband is the best, there is a thought, there is something you are connecting that the best to. Meaning that if that thing that make you say he's the best, if that thing were to stop, you'll be shocked that even your confession will stop. That's to tell you that thing, that agape love, we read about it, but we don't practice it. There's no such thing as selfish love. It doesn't exist. And some men that attempt to be, the man loved me, with that, some men are afraid of their wife. It's just fear. Say, no, my husband will never do this. It's so afraid. And some people, it's just respect. They just respect their wife. But you cannot say now respect is love. Because even that man that is calm and respect you and will not do anything that will hurt you, even that man has what to call a boundary that you cannot cross. If you cross it, you will discover that love does not exist. So all this thing is based on contracts. All right, thank you. See you in the next video.